Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Alright guys, this is Asa Lacy, the number 4 overall pick to the Kansas City Royals. Big lefty. He's 6'4", 215, but if you see from the highlights, it seems like he just pitches even taller than that. He gets some tremendous depth in his fastball. He's primarily a fastball slider guy. His fastball will range 2-seam and 4-seam between 92 and 97 miles an hour. But the depth that he gets on that fastball is pretty freaking impressive. It matches his slider very, very well. He can tunnel both pitches well at the next level. Probably going to have to add another pitch to his repertoire, another elite pitch to his repertoire, along with some command issues. But he's just such a big, raw guy, so young, and he's really strong. So very, very projectable in terms of durability. I really like Lacy's arm. I like everything about him and his build and his projectability. But let's go into his mechanics, basically. This is him from Team USA. He's throwing from the stretch here, obviously, and we'll just go and really touch home on some of the big things that he does very, very well. So let's take him into his leg lift. And right away, one of the things that you see here, this leg lift here, we see that he is drifting towards his target. So like his body is not just staying vertical during his leg lift. And I say this all the time, the only reason we lift our leg is so our body can start working, right? If our leg never lifts, we're just going to tumble over ourselves because we can't efficiently start using our body. So he does a great job heading in a positive direction towards his target as his lift gets to the peak of its delivery. It's a fairly large leg lift. I mean, he's lifting basically all the way to his hands, and his hands are around his neck area. So pretty big leg lift out of Lacy, but I really like his ability to move and start putting himself in a position to succeed as we continue forward through his actions. Now, this is where he's really good. So we all know the mound works in this fashion, right? It works in a slope fashion. And what you need to really do, and this is the toughest part in my opinion of pitching, is the ability to create depth on the back hip and glutes are going down while still working towards the catcher. This does not happen in segments. They happen together. And a lot of guys will drop then drive, right? It's a very common theme with youth throwers, when in actuality that's happening at the same time. So we're going to draw this line around his hips, and what you're going to see as he gets into his leg lift, he basically follows, his hip line follows this line created. And there are guys out there like Lance Wheeler's a very good guy with this saying. He says ride the slope, I believe is verbatim what he ends up saying, but ride the slide, however you want to call it. I say you just have to create depth within that back leg by activating the hip and really using the muscle groups that you need to use when throwing, which is glutes, hamstrings, keeping your foot connected into the rubber completely from toe to heel, if anything, pressure into the heel. And this is going to put you in a position to succeed throughout the rest of your delivery. Now, we get to the bottom of his delivery. What we do get is a great coil with the upper half. Hitters aren't the only ones that coil. Pitchers do too. One of the tough aspects about pitching is that you need to sustain this coil through the drive phase, and just about right before rotation, or right before, the front foot hits the ground, that's when rotation starts ensuing in the hips, right? So he's able to sustain this coil through the drive phase, and then once that front foot, you'll see the feet kind of start rotating first. Once the feet start rotating first, that kinetic chain starts rolling all the way up. You see the shin, knee, femur, hip all go into foot strike. And he's a great position with his hips starting to clear here, but his upper half is resisting the forward move of his body by staying back, keeping the shoulders closed, keeping them firm with a disconnected glove. He's controlled disconnection of that front glove. It's about to fold over. And one of the big keys about pitching, this is kind of a tough angle, but you see how I call it a fold over? Let's look at this glove. You see how the shoulder starts folding towards the third base line for him, right? That's going to allow his arm to come through the zone a little bit cleaner, right? Still get a little bit of a vertical elbow on the arm coming through, but it isn't that severe. He's staying on plane pretty well through the throwing zone, which is across the head and into pitch release. Once we get to pitch release, nice forward trunk tilt, right? We try to get our trunk over our firm front side, controlled disconnection of the glove, allowing the arm to follow through properly. This is a pretty prime elite spot for a guy his age and his size. Right? He's still immature physically. Even though he's a big boy, he's still a little stiff. He's going to be able to move better, which is going to be scary. He's going to end up sitting like 93, 94 in the minor leagues with the ability to touch even higher, maybe even get to 100. I definitely see 100 coming pretty soon for him once he starts getting his body a little bit more primed for movement. And it's not that he moves poorly, it's just he can move a little bit better, and that's going to be scary for hitters. But this is a very, very good spot here. Firm front leg, controlled disconnection of the glove. He's at extension with the throwing hand at pitch release with that tilt in the torso, kind of getting closer to parallel to the ground, the torso is. And we get into our follow through, which is nice and clean. You see his hand kind of peak, and his hand gets around his glove side hip. And another controlled disconnection thing with the glove. The glove needs to get out of the way so my arm can really like decelerate properly and stay safe. And he does an outstanding job. I really like his actions. I like his movements. I think he's going to have one heck of a future. Hoping to see him fairly soon, but he moves really well. And I think the scariest part is that he can move better, which is nuts. So hope you liked the video. Hope you liked this breakdown. If you did, do me a favor, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button. Like, share, comment. I'll see everybody later.